that I would give you guys, and I know you can see me in the background over here, my take on these new reels that are popping up, right? Everybody and their brother's got an opinion on them so far. So we'll jump over here, and the Reel Test just released his video on the Aldebaran, showing you what the sites that have already have it in hand. He doesn't have one in hand. I think he mentioned that the newest Aldebaran BFS isn't going to be released until, for us, the normal people, right-handed, that cast with our right, switch hands, and then reel with our right, or maybe abnormal people, it won't be released until, I think, April is what he said. So I probably won't get one anyway, and that's kind of why I was showing you this picture. Every time I look at some of these new reels coming out, I lean more and more towards that reel that is now available on Digitaka for, I want to say, 370 bucks. But then we also have, and I'm thinking that some people are starting to, I think, look at that, Silver Wolf, right? That's basically, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that this silver reel in black that they're calling the Silver Wolf, right? Catch a Cow, hi dude, thank you for your advice a few weeks ago, very much appreciated. I'm not sure what it was, but you're welcome. Which advice? It wasn't marital advice, was it? I've got 2 ex-wives, so that kind of advice you don't want to take from Charlie. Take that for sure. So let's go back, and the reason I stopped on that exact picture of that reel. You guys see that right there? That is probably the main reason why I'm not worried about that reel. There's more than that, but that's probably the main reason. If you're familiar with the channel, if you're not, just know that this is the old one, the original, not the original, 2016. The older Aldebarans actually look totally different. But this reel I've talked about, and I love this reel. But I've also talked about what I hate about this reel. See that right there? You guys compare them? I'm pretty sure that is the exact same dial, exact same nut, the screw, the way they hold it on there. Now, people have told me you can loosen that thing and make it easier to turn, but mine has been a nightmare from day one. You can't hardly read what it says. Of course, yeah, when it's exposed like that, you can loosen it, but from my understanding, and the only way I see to get in there to loosen that, you got to disassemble this whole side plate. So that's just been I guess a negative I've had about this reel from day one. That is about the only other one, other than it just doesn't feel as free when you're bench testing, when you're bench fishing. But once you get out on the water, it's about as good as any other reel that I've ever used. So, in my mind, with this, you have big shoes to fill. And you've had 5 or 6 years to come out with that, and you come out with that. In my honest opinion, no, sorry. Because, by the way, if you don't know the channel, and those of you do, I've said it many times, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not a professional fisherman. I'm just a guy like you. I'm also on Average Joe's Fishing Club. Average Joe, I go out fishing. I started putting out videos a while back because my 5-year-old son started putting out videos on YouTube. And we've caught on to, like, what's he making videos? It's that easy to make YouTube videos. Seriously, it can be. So I am just giving you my opinion. I'm not like 100%. I'm not telling you to go buy me 100%, but I'm not sponsored by anybody. I have nothing to gain from, pushing Daiwa, Shimano, any of those. So if you guys watch the Reel Test, if you haven't watched his video, go back and watch it, because it's the only one that I've seen so far showing this reel in English, where somebody's talking to you in English. But he's basically going over these Japanese YouTubers, their videos, talking about it. And I've only seen one picture or parts of the video, and I'll try to find it. That's not it. Where this reel actually looks good to me. And like the Reel Test alluded to, when you get something that sticks out too much, and like this, here's another one, this reel, we're going to talk about it. But if there's anything sticking out there, and I've talked about several times, especially if I've got a jerkbait combo, I don't want anything out there when I'm using a jerkbait, 100% for sure. Any little anything, that definitely wouldn't be anything for like even on a little small jerk, but anything you're working around. But I just see that as a big negative so far on that reel. But overall, I just don't think it looks as good as this reel, which some guys still think the what I guess I'll call the original Aldebarans, the like 2012 BFS models when they first started coming out. They like those better than even this guy. Because I'll be honest, when this reel first came out, and still to this day, this right here almost reminds me of something that's unfinished. I can't explain it, but see how like it's like there's that's good enough. Stop right there. It's almost too etchy, too blocky. We've come to love this reel, those of us that use it on a regular basis. Like it is a very, you know, good feeling, capable, working reel. Lightweight, palmable, all around. I've talked about it for the last couple years now about it being my favorite all around BFS reel. I've since then, I've got a couple others, MGL 30 and the 50, but I've since then decided I do not like those as like just all around reels. This Zillion and the capability of the spool, not this spool, that's a BFS spool. But the spool it comes with, the SV Boost, the capabilities and the palmability. It palms bigger and it's a little heavier reel, but I like this reel 100% better than the older Aldebarans. Not so much so far in BFS, but for the MGL 30, I've done a test. The old 50, of course, it's just not capable as the 30 was, and then this. So that is my new favorite all-around bait casting reel by far. I think Daiwa finally got it right. Shimano got it right with this reel. I just think they needed to refine it, and maybe that is still because it looks close. Like it could be kind of based on the same, you know, rework the frame a little bit. But here's the other negative things. Oh boy, how'd we get to that? Let's get out of there. Ain't nobody want to hear about no what you call it. What in the world are we on here? All right, let's just get out of that one. So going with, let's go with this guy, I guess. Let's look at this reel. That reel, to me, is an Alphas. So where Shimano kind of revamped or remade their Aldebaran on a reel that was not necessarily, it's not being released yet, but the talk is going around about today as far as the newest one. And then also today, Daiwa released the videos for two of their reels. It kind of popped up on different videos. The new, what's being called a Tatula 80, and if you watch Seth in here, somewhere in this video, he mentions the 70 SV, so I'm pretty sure they're also going to have an SV version of this and call it a 70, not an 80, is the way I gather. Now, I read somewhere else on Bass Resource or somewhere, somebody else mentioned that he thought they heard and I'm sure they will. But I think this, and I don't have mine anymore, the Alphas Air TW, but is basically this framework. So, oh, that's my video. It's already out. Look, we could watch myself. That's not going to happen. To this guy, version of the Zillion, right? If those of you that don't know. So it's going to have the mag sealed bearings, which are better for saltwater. I can't really make out. It does have I can't make out if it's because they call it for PE for, this one necessarily wasn't set up for braid. That one is. I don't know if it's a little bit shallower spool or whatever, but I definitely won't be getting any of those. This reel right here, I don't know what they're going to cost 100% for sure yet, but looks like it has an aluminum drag star, which I switched mine out. I like this better than that one anyway. But this one come with the Zion. Let's try to get a better shot of this guy. Hang on. Whoa. That's the shot I wanted. It's still not the shot I wanted. Let's take it all the way back. Yeah, somewhere in there where he was talking about it. And I'll be honest here, like I had mentioned when I told the real test, I'm going to wait till he gets it. When they do these advertisements, I understand they're trying to push a product, but the little clouded, barely showing you something and not really being the little mystique thing, I care less for that crap. They almost make me just, when I watch one of those, go, I'll never buy that reel. Like, show me the money. Show me what it is. Put it on a scale. Show me what it weighs. Show me what the spool weighs. Try to impress me with that. Don't impress me with your fancy theatrical, oh, look how cool, and have a guy acting like he's casting so hard and what it'll do. Show me the numbers. Show me what it'll do. They just put out these, to push the product. It kind of gets on your nerves after a while. So this reel, will I get one? Actually, like I've called it, which I consider, is what I should say. They've been working on the Zillions. I've honestly never been a Zillion fan. I was back in the day, I was a TDZ fan, which was basically a Zillion in a magnesium version, right? The JDM version. And the Zillions over here in the States were aluminum and they were heavy. This reel's aluminum. And I guess ever since they came out with the Steez, that's one, I guess if I have a negative on Daiwa in general, other than the Tatula itself, is I think they just kind of did away with that, what I consider kind of expensive, but not a Steez expensive, so that you have now kind of your Zillions, and then you jump up into these crazy, outrageous prices for a Steez. So at some point, I would actually like to see if they would, because I would love to see this reel in a magnesium version. A little bit lighter, because it does palm good, and it's not heavy. It's not a big deal if they don't, because it's just an awesome reel. So now I guess I can say that I'm happy to see this. It's going to bring basically the Alphas even a little more affordable, because the Alphas Air TW for $300, whatever they cost, from back when I bought one, I was not pressed for that price. No more than what that reel can do, because it's kind of a, and I've called it, and you guys may think I'm wrong, but the Alpha's Air TW I called like a one-trick pony. It's real good at throwing that little bitty bait, and then once you get a little bit above that, like a 1.5 gram, 2 grams and up, I felt this reel and a bunch of other, even the AliExpress reels, were like they just were better at casting those baits. But I did like the, and that's one thing they've changed on this reel. I don't know how they did that for sure, but and this Zillion and the Alphas do carry that same magnetic brake adjustment right here. But this SV Boost is no joke. Now this don't have it with this. So what do I think of this? Because the Silver Wolf, it's a no for me. I'm not worried about that reel. It's kind of like the Geico Pigeon. I have no need for that reel. It looks good. It looks better than the Alpha's Air TW, but as far as actually if I was getting one to use, over that I would get just the Alpha's TW. But I'm almost tempted to buy this. I think, but it's like $370. And I honestly think where I have this right now may be as good, if not better. This also on Digitaka, you can get the Zillion for I think it's $280, right? Yeah, maybe $280. You don't have to put all the gold on if you don't want. But then to get down to this kind of level, you get the like $54 chameleon spool. But a lot of guys will tell you there's a bunch of other ways to do it, which and comment below if you know what I'm talking about, because I can't think of the names of the spools and all that. But you could basically put a spool that will fit, or was kind of for the original Alpha's Air TW. In here, you have to get the spacers and that kind of stuff, but it is a possibility to basically have a little bit, especially if you like a firmer reel. But by the time you get the price, like for me, you're talking a little bit, I don't know, I think you can still get a little cheaper than the cost of that reel. And you still got a whole other spool, the SV Boost, which is an awesome spool for other stuff. You could, like I've talked about in my videos, I plan on fishing this on regular gear with the SV Boost, and then I'll go down to this spool, go put it on a ultralight BFS rod, and I'll be fishing it creeks and streams. It's not more or less like a you spend that much money, 370, 80, whatever, I can't remember what they're getting now on this, and you're basically just a little smaller, that 1 to 3 grams is probably where its wheelhouse is. Probably other reels that'll do better than it once you get heavier. Probably this reel right here. Now, the new, because I don't know, it's up to you guys, I guess. I'm not going to really talk about CDM stuff. Oh, look, I'm watching my video. How does that? Does I get like double views for that or what? That's weird. That's crazy. That's insane. Modern technology that I ain't figured out yet. So, yeah, this is where he was talking about, and I heard him mention the 70 SV, but this one would be like more capable for your higher stuff to jig. So go and watch those. If you guys, I'm kind of showing them here, but these channels here, I suggest to go watch the reel test if you haven't, on his take on this newer version and all the other ones. But I definitely am not going to buy a new Aldebaran until, I don't know, I've seen more the different take on it. The new Tatula, honestly, depending on the price, who knows? But I'm pretty sure that thing won't come with the clicker. I haven't seen them advertise. I know the silver, there's a good shot of it. That is definitely an Alpha's frame. Now I think they've kind of they made it kind of look different, because instead of having that like the Alphas, they stuck it out like the Tatulas are. But I think that's just so the side plate would be a little different. And I haven't heard for sure. I've heard people talking about whether it's going to have what they call the floating spool, like basically the short shaft or the long shaft like a Shimano. Because all the Tatulas up till now for sure had the longer shaft like a Shimano on the spool. So I've heard different ways, some guys talking differently. I would imagine being a Tatula, and it's going to be cheaper, and they don't want to compete with the Alphas, that spool is going to be the long shaft just like the other Tatulas and stuff like that. Keep them separated from the true Alphas or the Zillions to, price wise. So I'm going to talk about this one real quick, and I guess let me try to look it up here real quick again. Let's just click on his again. We'll give him another view. He needs the help, right? So let me see where. Okay, when they go to the spools. Now here's the thing about spools. How can they call this a BFS MGL? I don't get that. It's like, how do you have, like, I think in my mind, I feel you have to have one or the other. Like, if you guys are also familiar with the Facebook group I'm in, the BFS Finesse Fishing, you guys know what I'm talking about. We had the whole little controversy over Power BFS, and like it got a little heated or whatever. It's like an oxymoron, you can't have this and that, but it's true. You can power BFS, but I don't understand how you can have BFS MGL spool. I don't get that part. Like, I'm wondering if they're just marketing. They're just throwing a bunch of names on that new reel to help push it. Like, because in my mind, the MGL spools I've had, or the SV spools, like they're the finesse spools before you go to full BFS spool. Like, I don't think you can have an in between. It's kind of like, in my mind, it's like having a shallow deep spool. How are you going to have a shallow deep spool? Deep shallow spool. Like, I don't get it. I mean, in order for it to be considered a BFS spool, it has to be so shallow, and then once it becomes that shallow, then you can no longer call it an SV or a MGL. So I'm not sure. I'll put it this way. I'm definitely in no hurry. I'm not going to like jump on board and try to pre-order one and get one out for you guys so you guys can see me unboxing it in the video, be one of the first ones. No. Could care less about that reel at the moment. if it turns out to be this crazy casting that, you know, beats this guy and all that, I might get one. Might not. Don't need it. I've come, you know, as I've talked about in all my videos, you don't have to have any of these higher end reels to go out and bass fish. You just don't. To BFS fish, you don't. If you guys have known or followed the channel as far as the AliExpress reels, and I'm still not gonna mention any of those names, but I'm was more excited to see some of those like I have now come out than I am that thing right there. Just for that, that's the main reason. That right there, they didn't change it enough, and in my mind, they made it worse, and they may have made the spool worse because I don't like those little bitty spools. Like if I'm not gonna talk about those CDM reels. So anyway, I'm getting ready to get out of here. If you guys got any questions or what, any other additional thoughts, because I had a few people asking me what I thought about this and thought about that. What I do think about is this Sunday. This is Friday. Sunday, the weather's going to be warm enough. We're going to get these out in a shootout. Daiwa versus Shimano, but still Chameleon versus Chameleon. But we've got the, you know, both magnetic brakes, but Shimano's at the time, which still until proven, their best basic reel for BFS versus maybe the best Zillion ever made versus the best Aldebaran ever made, as far as I'm concerned right now, even after seeing that new one. Oh look, it's Ryan Reynolds. Hey Ryan. Get out of here. We don't want to see you. Mint Mobile, I know, yeah. Sorry. Let me see if anybody commented. Nope, just catch a cow. So anyway, as I get out of here, I'm glad. If you don't know, I guess I'll talk about it. If you don't know, I've got a lot of BFS reels, and I'm very happy that I jumped on when I had the opportunity to pick up. Let me go grab it real quick. This guy right here. This guy right here, I definitely would rather have than any of those other reels that are out right now. Now, it's kind of got me like at that. The deal I got on this, I can't get a deal like that on one of those, or I probably would have buy one of those. And I should jump on that. I should actually buy that reel. Whoa. But I'm telling you, I've got 12, 14, 18, I don't know. I got a bunch of just BFS reels. So I don't really need any of those. I know. That doesn't stop me though. I'm going to end up buying something, right? So let me get back here to Reborn. It's been reborn. I was trying to find the picture that, because I don't find it very nice looking, the reel. I don't think it looks better than the old one. They claim it's going to perform better, but that's still, it's yet to be proven. Because even if it'll cast a 1 gram trout magnet, say, better than the old one, still doesn't make it better for what I use it for. Well, what in the world? I think my computer's slower than I am. Confusing it. Now there's a pretty good shot. It doesn't look bad. Yeah, that's the shot I think I was trying to get. I mean, it does look very much the same. In that picture, it actually maybe looks a touch better. But then when you start looking at it in the way that side plate flares out, I think they've lost a little bit of the magic. Again? Really? Jesus. Sorry. Can't deal with it. That's me. We don't want to watch me again. So as we get out of here, that reel is available now. Digitaka has it. What'd I say? 370, 380, whatever. Maybe Platt. And somebody I saw posted that they were shipping or whatever. But that's a good looking reel. Definitely the best Alpha's variant, I'll call it, because it's based on the Alpha's Air TW frame. I know it's its own little deal. The Silver Creek Airstream Custom or whatever they call it. Here's my only downside. See that right there? See that? How they bring it out? And it's already a little spool. If you guys remember, I had the clamber. And I didn't really like the clamber, I think, because of that. Was one of my main issues with the clamber. The Alpha's Air TW I didn't really like because of that little bitty spool. I like the big spools. I think I'm beginning to more and more, I kind of like not a huge reel, but not those little real super fine small reels with the little bitty spools. Kind of the only ones I do sort of like, I guess, because they're only 75 bucks. I mean, I will talk about the CDM reels, the Dark Wolf Ultra or the Black Knight 2. But they're still like a 30 millimeter and it's all the way across. They're still not that little. Like that guy with that thing all cut down. And then they're the Shimano, what's it, 29 now? So, I don't know. I kind of like this guy. What are these, 34? They tend to make for a better all-around BFS spool. So anyway, be looking forward to that shootout battle. It's coming up Sunday. I'll probably be putting together another video, maybe do another live thing. I was trying to get Bonsai guy up here. I was going to do some wheeling and dealing, trading. I need to try to get hold of Emily. I was going to try to, well, she wants me to fix her reel, but I was going to try to get Precious back on the show. If you guys know who Precious is, the Edo AI. Yeah. At some point, we'll go down into the old Alphas. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about the whole what's new out there. If you're planning on getting any of those, if you think this one, like if they were the same price, would you get that reel over the new Shimano Aldebaran, or would you take that money, whatever reel, say, and another reel out there, and these different Avail, Amo, Chameleon spools that are available. There's so many spools starting to pop up, which is a good thing. I like it that there's just all different, from high end to cheaper ones. Like I don't even know what brand name it is. Not this one. This was like $54, but you can get a very BFS capable spool. Now it's not this real low range like ultralight BFS, but a very capable BFS spool for these Zillions, your older Zillions, and other reels for $30 from AliExpress. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. As of right now, if I had to go buy, I'm like, I had like I typically sometimes happens, I'll have like $370 burning a hole in my pocket. I would buy that reel right there before I buy the new Shimano if it was available, before I would any of the other Alpha, the Geico Pigeon, the Alpha's Air TW, or even the older one in this version, the older Alphas. What do they call that one? Just it wasn't a Silver Creek. It was like the Airstream Custom or something. I don't know. Yeah, the green one. Now, what I would like to have, let's just do that real quick. Let's just go here and go here and go. Let's just see what that brings up. This reel. Let's just have a little show here, if I can get it to pop up. Let's just talk about collector reels. I'm not a collector. Never really have been a collector of anything except X Lives. But That wasn't on purpose. So this reel right here, if you guys don't know about this reel, it's an Alphas based Megabass Zonda through, I think, in partnership with Hedgehog Studios, who you can go on now and still get buy a lot of stuff. They came out with this. They called it 2013 Zonda 68 Hedgehog Custom, 2013 Limited. This was an awesome looking reel. Performance, well, I don't like. How do you make that picture big? Like, here's a shot. Let's just go big. Go big or go home. That picture is a little bitty. But that reel right there looked awesome. If you can make out how it was like see-through, sort of like the Ito AI. I think that's where they got the idea. And then they just kind of added that purple. And that's kind of where the Black Knight 2 sort of remind you of this reel. But if I was a collector, this would be the first reel on my list to have in my collection, for sure. But I will give you a negative about Megabass. All the Megabass I've ever seen, owned, or whatever, the black on them is very flaky. Very, very prone to flaking off if you actually use it. I didn't own this one. I owned the spool, and I had the Zonda Rosso. But that would be one of the first. Probably actually all of the Aldebarans. Like if I was collecting BFS stuff, probably all, because there's not a ton of BFS reels that came out as BFS reels, even though they weren't called BFS. That had shallow spools. There's not a ton of them there. Any of the Daiwa Airs are basically BFS, but in the Megabass, basically that reel was one of the only true BFS spools that you could get. There's a lot of others capable, but then you had any of the Air, but the T3 Air would be, if I had to pick one true just Daiwa that I had to have in the collection, or the best of the bunch as far as just not really even value, just the coolest one would probably be the T3 Air, if you guys don't know what that one is. And then honestly, the Shimano would probably be the one I got right now, the Calcutta Conquest. That's just a cool reel. All right, guys, over 33 minutes. But if you got any other questions, or ever you want me to take a stroll down memory lane and look up some of this stuff, let's just look. Oh yeah, if you guys didn't watch, and I suggest you watch it, the Reel Test did his BFS arsenal, right? I'm gonna show you something if I can find it. If you guys, I just want to see if I can find. But I was kind of like Jimmy on raw fishing. I thought what was interesting was the fact that in my mind, this is just my take on it, the coolest reel that he held up wasn't even one in his BFS arsenal. Now, I thought that was, he had decked it out to be BFS, but the Shimano Corrado 50E back in the day, and his had the gold on it. You'll see it when he's the Aldebaran BFS XG before the limited. He's showing you how narrow something is, and he brings out his Corrado. That, just with the gold accents, is like the coolest reel, in my opinion, in his collection. It's like, man, that thing just looks cool. And that is a cool reel. If you guys aren't familiar, they're basically an old Aldebaran. When they, just like you've seen them doing with the Alphas right now today, that the Tatula came out, and it's basically an Alphas variant, right? Well, they did the same thing back in the day with the Corrado, just like they do today. But they had the Aldebaran, which is magnesium reel, and then when it made it over here to the States, and the Corrado, to kind of be, well, cheaper for them, and some would say make it tougher, make it out of aluminum. It was a Corrado 50E. There's a lot of 50Es floating around. The cores, I think they were actually a true Aldebaran, basically, because I think the cores were still magnesium. And then they had the Scorpion, I think, was aluminum over in Japan. They made a 50E. And then what kind of upset a lot of people, and I've talked about it before, what kind of killed off two awesome Shimano reels in one fair little swipe was when they took that reel and charged more money for it. Basically added, I think they switched that from plastic to aluminum, not hardly much difference, and they called it the Chronarch 50. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Well, what that done, it did away with. This was cheaper. I think at the time it was like 159 or 79, and the other one was a 200, or it was more money. And so there's a lot of guys not happy with that. But then what it also did when they done that thing, and then if you guys know, that's why I think, in all honesty, I think this new Shimano coming out, the Aldebaran, could be a Corrado G. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, the E was out. They went through maybe one of them, but the Corrado G was like a dud. A lot of people say that's an awesome reel, and it may be a pretty good reel, but it didn't match up to the looks and the function of that, the 50E. There was a Corrado G that, if you know, never heard about it, that's for good reason. So it's a possibility that I think, and if that new Aldebaran doesn't go over well, you'll see him real quick change out to something else. Just saying, might be, could be all conspiracy. So I still may pick up one of those reels. I still like those. You can still track them down here and there. I think that they're still overpriced. They're like as much or more than they were new. But let's go to the other reel. That reel got killed off by the Chronarch 50E. But then another reel that got killed off basically was the infamous Chronarch D7. Do you guys know which one I'm talking about? Let me try to find a good pick. That is not a good pick. Get out of there. This was a reel, I remember looking at it at Cabela's. I never did buy one because it was a bigger palming reel. And if you guys still would like to see the technology this reel had, you can actually buy the Metaniums. This was a Metanium basically when they transferred it over. There's a pretty good shot. Well, yeah, Bass Boat Central. This is a place I still am a member and go there. This one's all chewed up. Look at that thing. Believe it or not, that reel right now today would still probably bring $150. But those reels in their prime, and why did I click on these pictures? This guy must have been selling them. But these reels still bring a big price on eBay. One pops up in good shape, not like this one, but well, kind of like this one. Just maybe a scratch here or there. They're like $300 reels or more. You can go on there and find a Metanium around this area, which I'm pretty sure these were aluminum, so they're going to be heavier. The Metaniums are magnesium. They're just all silver, but they still got a few of the gold highlights. They're still on eBay right now for like between 100 and 150 bucks all day long. There's usually a bunch of them. Some of them more scratches than others, but very awesome, good reel, but it did palm it bigger than real bright silver Metaniums that I still think palm too big. But this reel was discontinued. They brought out the, instead of Corrado 50, they took it to a Chronarch 50 and then like a 200E or whatever. Basically, they just took everything that was Corrado, turned it into a Chronarch. This thing was just no longer available. I guess in the process downsizing, they thought what they were going to come out with the Corrado would be good. But Corrado never really did have another good reel until, I want to say the 70 that they brought back out just now that the Corrado BFS is based off of. Because I remember, if you guys remember, Pobegred, I want to think his name was Paul, but I remember he had one. I bought a TD Ito from him, and he had one of the new, at the time, Corrado 70s, I believe. And he's like, they got it right. And he was trying to show it to me. And back then I was a Shimano or Daiwa guy, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to see that thing. So anyway, yeah, awesome reels for their time. Still very capable reels. And as I get out of here, I just wanted to show you one other reel. And this has, we've gone way off course on looking at the new reels that are out today, but I'm going to show you something. I think this is it. If I can find one. What did they call that reel? Maybe it wasn't that. I want to show you this old Daiwa. And maybe it's not a Procaster. I don't know. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. A lot more coming. Make sure and comment in this video which reels you like that are out right now.